Hello and welcome to Be Here Now, the Peaceful Empowerment Works show. We are live on the newstreamingnetwork.com, home of goingboldmedia.com, goingsolomedia.com, and WGSN-DB. Going Solo Network Radio. Sorry about that. Bless you.
Thank you. You hear? Okay. Sorry.
Right. Janice has been blessed. I am your co-host, Judy Forder, and I am here with my co-host in peace, Miss
Janice Leonard. I'm Janice and Judy, and we're here. We love to do this show, just hoping to help everybody get through the day, get through their life, find peace and happiness. And we're doing this out of the goodness of our hearts. We don't get paid, but we are a nonprofit organization. We're a 501c3. If you make a donation, it's tax deductible. Simply go to our website, www.peacefulempowermentworks.org, and you can donate by selecting the button donate on the top or the button on the bottom.
Perfect. And our topic for today, no rest for the weary. We call bullshit on that.
Amen.
Janice, go ring us in. That is beautiful. That is my favorite bowl that you have, I believe.
Yeah, I'll show. I think it's 658 hertz, or I don't know. It's a healing one. It's a DNA healing one. Actually, supposedly helps heal DNA.
I can feel it.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. We're going to get started right away, and we're going to start with good news.
Oh, it's the good news time.
What's the good? There's no good news like good news like Gary Gnu. The Great Space Coaster.
Okay, there we go. Today's good news is from Good Humans World. I got it off Instagram, and it was just hit my spot, especially because it was recommended by a friend who I have a lot of respect for. So in honor of Jen, I selected this one, and it's just a good news story.
An older gentleman out that lives here.
Yes.
He fell down the road there.
A suburban mailman on his route finds a neighbor in need of help.
So he sprang right into action.
It was Saturday, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when Guy was out walking Bentley. And that's when Jalen, who was in his mail truck, noticed that something might be wrong.
I was looking in my rearview mirror at him, and he took a tumble.
Jalen did not simply call 911. He got out of his truck and helped Guy, who had some very serious injuries.
I'm trying to get up at the same time, and Jaden's telling me, just stay down, and you might be hurt, and you can't be walking anywhere.
Jalen flagged down some neighbors to help and got Guy to give him his home address.
Is there an older gentleman out that lives here?
Yes.
He fell down the road there.
Jalen found Marcia and then went back to finish his route. Guy's family posted the story on social media so they could thank this good Samaritan.
I was raised that way. My parents, my family, just you look out for others, you know, in the state that the world is in today, just kindness and grace is all that anyone ever needs.
Jalen's selfish act will be recognized by the city of Aurora next week. But more importantly, he has gained an extended family in the Millers, who will open up their home to Jalen's family to celebrate Thanksgiving.
I said, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? You have family? Yeah, we said we're family. Definitely.
I'm glad he's okay. And, you know, it's incredible.
Is there an older gentleman out that lives here?
Wow.
You know, you always think, what would I do in that scenario? And I never, you know, I think that I would just do that. But then there's a little part of me still thinking, oh, but I'll be late for work. I won't have the work done in time. I'll get in trouble. So in honor of those who don't do that, that was great.
Now, just because that runs through your mind doesn't mean you still wouldn't take action.
Yes, I'd like to think I definitely would, but
I know you. I was going to say, I know you. I know your heart. You would definitely take action.
Well, as long as you pay attention to what's going on around you, and especially now, I'm just looking at getting older, and you know, things like that are going to happen to you, and you hope that someone's paying attention enough to notice that you fell down and are having a problem.
Exactly. Exactly. I love, his family. He was born and taught kindness and grace. And there is a lot more of that in the world than we are led to believe, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It's where you focus your attention. It's selective attention or selective hearing, whatever. But that's what do you listen to? What do you pay attention to?
Exactly. Where are you going to put your energy? Fantastic. If you want to see good in the world, you're going to see good. If you want to see bad in the world, you're going to see bad.
That's right.
So fantastic. What a great story, Janice. Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving right along to attitude is everything.
My dog jumped. Sorry.
Yes, our weekly affirmation. Janice picked a long one today. So everybody,
I know.
Up.
I know. Usually I just try to go for a short thing that maybe I can remember and keep practicing. But I love this whole one, so I couldn't break it apart. So this week, I'm going to say we are strong. How's that? Because this is not just about me. We're here for everybody. We are strong, and we have the power to heal from our past. Each day I grow stronger as I release the pain and embrace my resilience. We are defined by the courage we show in moving forward. Our scars are a testament to our survival, not our limitations, not our faults or flaws or failures. We deserve peace, joy, and love, and we're open to receiving them. We trust ourselves to navigate this journey, knowing that we are worthy of a life free from shadows of trauma. Healing is our birthright, and we are reclaiming it one step at a time.
Yes, and yes.
How could you cut any part of that out? It's great.
You absolutely cannot, and I love you switching it to we. Yeah. It's a collective declaration. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It gave me goosebumps, Janice.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah.
I've been looking a lot at, lately about trauma and healing from trauma and recognizing that you have trauma and what it is and how it affects you and does it change you and, and be able to let go of it because, I can't let go of so many things. Well, I'm working on it, but I feel like I failed. This is something we talked about just last week I think it was last week I can't let go of a few things in my past because I feel like I failed, like the job that I didn't do good in, or the thing I didn't do right. Those I remember so clearly, and I don't remember the good things. And that's my habit. It's so what can I do to improve? Like pretend I have control over everything. How can I improve things? Well, I could do this, I could do that. So that way I can feel like I have control over my life, as opposed to just saying, oh, boy, it's interesting. I beat myself up when I do something wrong and I can't forget it. Well, let it go. This is okay. It's in the past and whatever.
Yeah. We can't move forward in peace and love and joy like was stated in the affirmation if we're going to continually beat up the person that got us here.
Yeah.
And those experiences that you had all paid and rolled.
Yes, it did.
It's all those things made you who you are today. So to look back and beat that person up for what? It's not serving you.
Yep.
So, and that's I'm a person that the beatings were deep and the beatings were bad and the same thing. And that's what I have to look back. And those are things that I'm reminding myself of. If I'm going to beat, shame, and blame that person, then that person is never going to be truly and authentically me because I'm not giving her the opportunity to be. So I do my best to remind myself to look back with gratitude because Lord knows there are things that have happened in my life that I certainly wish did not, but understanding that it's made me who I am today and it got me to this point.
Yeah.
It's very funny because I actually said to Jenna, I always talk about we are our own superheroes and that's what we are to embrace. Because there is no external remedies for internal problems. And that was a quote I heard from Brittany Noel, and it hit me like a lead brick, like, bam, pay attention to this.
Yep.
So I was thinking about that quote, and I was like, I've always been my own superhero, but the inner child, that child that was working to survive, had a very limited toolbox. So through the healing that I've done, I've expanded my toolbox. So instead of automatically dropping into survival mode, I have tools now to recognize that I'm there, and then to get myself and ask myself the questions to move through it.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to remind myself of when I look back, much like you look back and start beating up that person that did that stupid thing or failed at this. I'm my own worst enemy when I do that. So it goes back to what we were talking about before. Am I afraid of failing, or am I afraid of the person inside me that's going to beat the shit out of me and send me into a depression because it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to?
As opposed to like, creating this in my head now, is the answer for me could be, boy, I always had to felt like I had to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be perfect. So I will try saying that next time.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. Ooh.
All right. Now with that, let's move forward to pearls of wisdom. Excellent. Pearls of wisdom. Our pearls of wisdom for today. When energies are this intense, which they really are, it's a good reminder to rest and integrate. Find a good balance between doing and being. You will find yourself a lot more productive this way and a lot less frustrated. There is so much going on in this world right now. Janice and I were talking about chaos and how neither of us do well in chaos anymore. She wanted to chalk it up to her getting old, and I said, no, that is not true.
I have all kinds of excuses.
Exactly. With the energies being what they are, and there being so much chaos out in the world, this is a perfect time for us to rest and integrate. And it's funny because the more I encourage myself to rest, the more I realize I don't even know what the hell rest is. So, and integrate, what does that even mean? What am I integrating? And part of that is the holiday season brought to our attention the fact that we don't like chaos. We don't thrive in something that we used to live in and just thought that was life. Well, we got a little taste of the other side of what life is like without chaos. And that is something that we choose. We choose peace over the chaos now.
Yeah. Like I said, I was thinking the chaos, what didn't I like about it? What is it about? And for me, it's about that superficial relationships, craziness, but it's superficial. So like when people do come to my house for Thanksgiving, I wish it would be, in peace, and we could have a really deep, meaningful time together, as opposed to, gotta do this, gotta go get this, get the chicken, get the turkey, and so on. So that's my lesson I learned this week.
Yeah, and that feeds right into, yes, there are things that happen, but finding the balance between the doing, got to do this, got to do that, and sitting and being and enjoying one another's company and being able to have a conversation beyond, how you doing? Good. How you doing? Good.
That's right.
All right. So into our pathways of peace, where we are going to talk about the quote, no rest for the weary. And this is something that I've heard my entire life. People say it. I had a teacher that used to say it at school. I've talked about Elizabeth Hedgel on the show before. She was one that would always say, no rest for the weary. We must carry on.
And that's probably something you remember too, because it spoke to you. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta go.
Exactly. And when we're talking about no rest for the weary, it's like, it's Cece, if you could go to that next slide, that'd be great. I, of course, looked up what it means, and it's a proverb that says that one must keep working no matter how tired they get, which is a society that absolutely supports that belief. And it means that even when someone is tired or exhausted, they must continue working or pushing forward without stopping to rest. It essentially implies that there is always work to be done and no time for relaxation. And Janice and I are here to challenge that, because I know growing up, as long as you were moving, then you're being productive. And it doesn't matter if you're tired. Suck it up, Sally. Let's go. You know, Jen and I were laughing because we were talking about this, and it's like, rub some dirt on it, get back out there. And
That's right.
It's coming to me right now. One quote that I can't even remember who would always say it. Somebody I used to work with. It would be like, "Oh, I can rest when I'm dead."
Yeah, you remember how proud? I remember how proud I was of not missing any school or not missing work. Oh, it doesn't matter. I was sick, but I went to work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we live in a society where, you know, that's the thing. You go and you go and you go and you go. And much of our healing journey has been us learning boundaries, us learning to say no, us listening to our bodies. Our bodies are tired. You know, the interesting thing I'm hearing right now is by the time the body is tired, the soul is already exhausted. So the body is screaming at you, it's time for you to slow down. You need to take a moment. You need to pause. You need to rest. Listen to the body, because if you don't listen, it starts screaming louder and louder and louder. And it's either going to scream at you through pain. Chronic pain is what I just heard. Or it's going to scream at you in other ways, that through anxiety, that paralyze you and force you to stop.
Yeah, that was my. I used to have that was my sign. Okay, you got to take care of yourself now. Of course, it was after the fact, like when I was crashing. I didn't see it before, but I'm crashing. I guess I've done too much.
Yes, exactly. The only way I would give myself permission to stop is if I was sick. You know, when I was teaching at the high school and coaching, it was go, 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 can't miss a day. You know, I got to teach, I got to coach, I got to do all these things. And every single year at Christmas break, I would get sick. I would get an upper respiratory infection. I would be sick through the holidays every year. And I'd be like, every year this happens. What is going on? Well, I'd work myself to the point of exhaustion, taxing my immune system. And once I could finally breathe, the body was like, wham!
Oh, yeah.
So yes, I have worked on listening to my body more. So I get the whole slow down physically and allow the body to rest and recuperate and, you know, replenish, and all those are things. But what I'm working on now is learning to rest my mind, learning to rest. And I don't even know what this means, but it's on a spiritual level. I don't even know what that means. That's what I'm learning. Because do I have all the answers? Absolutely not. But again, I've learned enough to listen to the body before the crashing happens. I've learned to sit and be still physically. And now I'm learning to sit and be still mentally. And a lot of people immediately say, well, meditation is that. Well, meditation can be. I'm learning that rest is something that comes in levels, like everything else in life. It's coming and showing itself in levels. So that's what I'm working on. Janice, what does rest mean to you?
Oh, you know, I'm just looking up something, trying to find this thing. Maybe I'll find it when we go for break. Rest for me. I'll tell you what, I don't know how. I really basically don't know how. I'm trying to learn. And there was, if I can find it, I put it on my Facebook, which was the, you can just take a deep breath before you drink your coffee. Just, breathe. That's as far as I can go right now. But I actually I was driving the car yesterday and I was like, breathe. Oh boy, look how my chest is so tight. I can't breathe in. wow, look how tight my body is. I didn't even realize that I was tense or my body was tense
Oh, wow.
until I tried to take the breath. Like, oh, okay. So I'm trying these little things, and if I can find that Facebook thing, it was said it perfectly. That's my goal.
I remember. I saw you
Yep.
post that. Yeah. If you
Yep.
if you can't meditate, breathe between every sip of coffee or something along those lines.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. I think this is a great place for us to take our commercial break, and we will be right back. And we are back to be here now, the Peaceful Empowerment Work Show, and Janice has teed up exactly what she was talking about before break.
Yeah. Sorry for the distraction, but I just love this. Yeah. Look on my Facebook if you want to see it. But Juanita Gail Schiavone had posted this, and it says, if you can't meditate, pause before every sip of coffee. If you can't pray, simply say thank you before every meal. If you can't manifest, enjoy what's already yours. If you can't journal, talk to yourself in the car. There is no spirituality rule book. Just show up for yourself in ways that feel good to you. And this for me helped make it manageable or not so overwhelming. It's like, no, I wish I met. Oh, thank you, Cece. Yeah, it's like, I don't meditate. I should meditate. There's a great chance just to get myself, oh yeah, well, I don't do that. I should do that. But this, like, I can take a breath before I sip a coffee. I can talk to myself in the car. So for where I'm at, I love this one.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's funny. Every time you say don't should yourself. Don't should yourself.
I know. I'm a work in progress.
Yes. Excellent. If we could go to the next slide, Cece, that would be awesome. There we go. All right. So I thought we would these are a couple of my favorite memes that I put up here so we could chat about this. Because this first one with the flamingo, it takes courage to say yes to rest and play in a culture where exhaustion is seen as a status symbol. How does that hit you?
Whoa.
Uh-huh.
I mean, especially, until I stopped working full time. But when I was full time, I was just get the work done, go to work, drive an hour in, an hour back, come home, do this. Kids. Okay, I gotta do the kids. I just, and
yeah,
that was good. I honestly thought that was good. And especially like my dad is a World War II Depression era guy, my parents. And so I grew up with that a little bit. And that's all about work. I mean, if that's what you did, you went to work and you didn't quit the job. You stayed at the job.
Yeah.
And so heaven forbid you should try to find your niche or what brings you any kind of happiness, because that wasn't the goal.
No.
The goal was so that's how I was brought up. That's what makes me think of.
And you've talked about on the show before where, work is what you defined yourself.
Oh,
that's how you.
And I felt I was worthy and I was great. Well, not great, but I felt worthy anyways. I felt worthy, and yes, see, I've got a purpose. Look at me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And stay late, finish that project. Oh, and get that done at home. And,
Yep. Yeah. And, there wasn't a lot of play encouraged. That's what the weekends were for. Everybody's living to the weekend. Working to get through the day, living for the weekend, where they can then go and play and attempt to have some fun in their lives. Were you encouraged to pick a career that made you happy?
I was lucky because they didn't expect anything from the girls.
Okay.
I think the boys, like my brother, felt like, oh, I want to be an engineer. That's, Mr. Varney down the street was an engineer, and he makes good money. He's seen good in the community, and he went that route. Where, I didn't get anything. I don't think they had any expectations from me, so I just did what I wanted.
Yeah.
So I lucked out.
Well, that's really good. That's fantastic. And I was lucky because my dad was a corporate headhunter. So he would always ask us, what do you want to do? What do you want to do with your life? And, when we would talk about money, he would be like, because my sister and I were both teachers, and he's like, well, obviously you're not going to get rich doing that, but will you be happy?
That's nice.
Yeah. So we were lucky to have that vantage point from my dad. He was very realistic about incomes and things like that. But then again, we were the girls. Like you said, he was different with my brother, which we didn't know. I didn't know until well after my mother died, but he was very different with my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was lucky because I was a teacher. I think that's the way I could justify having play in my life, because I got to play with the kids. I was a PE teacher. That's all about play and a lot of other adult responsibilities, but that's how I was able to keep play and youth in my life. So I was pretty lucky as well, but also was, okay, this has to get done. That has to get done. This, and I was one of those that once you could finally breathe, okay, great. Sit down. Let's have a beer. Have a beer, relax, talk about the day. But it was, it's funny that this is coming to me now. It was like, I couldn't give myself permission to sit down until everything else was done. I had to earn my right to rest.
Yeah. And
it made me think of my mother. My mother, she would smack me upside the head if she knew I was saying this. She was a smoker. And when she stopped smoking, she really struggled. Like, to the day she died, she wanted a cigarette, because when she smoked, she sat down. It was the only time she gave herself permission to sit.
Wow. Oh boy, that's speaking to me.
I was like, wow, okay. It wasn't so much a cigarette, it was the permission to sit down.
Wow. Well, what's interesting, a little twisted, but it makes me think about is, I've been overweight my whole life, and I want to eat. It's about food. I'm a compulsive eater. And when I had different things happen, and the last thing was, I didn't mean to intentionally try it, but I do have diabetes. And so I did get on a medicine that did help me lose weight. It helped me lose my appetite. Mm-hmm. And that's the struggle now, because when I'm wanting to rest or whatever, I used to be able to eat. And that would make me feel better. And I would food. Now it's like, oh, I don't want that. Or you take a bite and it's like, oh, that's enough. It's a whole restlessness that comes out, because I don't know how to rest, because that's all I used to do. Was I used to eat or wanted to eat, and now I can't. And it's hard. It's bizarre that you would think that way, but it's hard to not have the food compulsion.
No, I feel like that's what great awareness for you to realize that. And the simple fact that you have realized that connection is going to help. I'm just hearing it's going to help you understand what's going on. And in that, it's like you just release the power from it, because you understand it, and you're not. I feel like you always go to, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me. Once you understand, you're like, I'm not broken. This is what's going on. And it makes sense, because this was the pattern. So now you've recognized the pattern, and you have the power to choose something different.
Learn to really rest, maybe. I don't know.
Exactly. I feel like that, honestly, that's the push right now for everybody, is to learn to truly rest. Because it's perfect for the next meme. We're not designed to live in survival mode. Our bodies need safety. Our souls need rest. And that's part of, I know with what I know about you, that's part of the constantly moving and doing and doing and doing, is because we didn't feel safe to stop.
That's true.
Yeah. And people are waking up to the fact that they've been living in survival mode too. And people are declaring that they want something different. So I do feel like there's this collective awareness of rest. And it's, I think you said it perfectly, when it looks different for everybody. It looks different for everybody. So, you know, they're on this meme, there's 9 types of rest. 1, time away. 2, permission to not be helpful. And that's a big one for us people pleasers.
Yes, it is.
You know, do something unproductive.
Oh,
I know. What? There has to be something I show that I've done.
Yeah, taking the breath before the coffee. There, that is productive.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Connection to art and nature. We were talking about Janice and her quilts. And we were talking about Janice and cooking. She's a good cook. Her husband wants to tell the world that she's a good cook, because there's an assumption that she's not, because she hasn't enjoyed cooking, so she didn't put a lot of time and energy into it. But now she's following recipes, she's making these beautiful creations, and that's part of her artistic expression.
Wow.
Yeah. Solitude to recharge. Janice and I were talking about that too, where sometimes you just need to be alone in your own energy so that you can do and be whatever it is you need. A break from responsibility. That's a big one. And when I started focusing on what I can control, what I can't control, and my responsibilities versus the responsibilities of others, but I was taking them upon myself. The people pleaser, always doing for others. When I could release that idea of responsibility, of trying to make everybody else happy, trying to make sure they're taking that, all the trying, once I stopped that and allowed them to take responsibility, everything has shifted in relationships and my relationship with me.
Yeah.
So, stillness to decompress, safe space, alone time at home, you know, and safe space is interesting because I have learned to realize that, you know, part of being your own superhero is being your own safe space. So it's not about going somewhere that is safe. When I can create that safe space within me, then it goes with me everywhere I go. But it's a process. It's a definite process, because when you end up in places where you haven't in the past felt safe, there's that whole mind fucking that happens, and it takes intention and consistency to remind those younger parts of you that it's okay. We're safe here now. I've got you.
And as you're running in that chaos, you never get to that destination. You know, you don't get it.
No, that survival mode keeps the chaos spinning, and everybody, the only thing they can focus on is keeping themselves alive.
Yeah.
It's difficult to make connections. It's difficult to have deeper, meaningful conversations, because you're just focused on what's next. How do I keep treading water?
Yeah, that reminds me, you know, I think, oh, see, I don't meditate well. And I doing that kind of thing. But it's like, since I stopped working home, I only work part-time. Of course, it's 4 jobs if you count this one. So so you always have to keep thinking about it. But, you know, it's not black and white. My thinking tends to be black and white. It's like I am either have this worldly peace, or I'm a failure finding peace, right? But, you know, when you look at it, it's all just the journey. You know, it's like, okay, so now I've conquered maybe work being my my life and chaos to, okay, I've got time. And now time feels anxious. And then, oh no, I'm not doing anything. And I struggle with all the little voices, but I'm facing it and I'm looking at it, and I definitely have moments of peace. And so, it's not black and white. It's not like I am this great peace woman of peace. And it's the progress. It's the journey that you go through. And every day, I guess you can get a little closer.
We are a work in progress. And that's, the fact that and have experienced peace in the chaotic world that you came from is a testament to your healing journey. The fact that, in a society that promotes chaos and people living in survival mode, the fact that any of us have experienced any kind of peace. I can remember the first time I felt peace, I didn't know what it was. I didn't. I because for me, my mind, the thing that gets me is there's always something, because we're always healing. There's always something we can do. And so when I was sitting there and peaceful and happy, and the first thought that crept into my mind is, what's wrong with me?
This is weird feeling. Hello.
I've never felt this before. It feels good, but I've never felt it before. Is there something wrong with me?
And what's interesting too is as you change, the people around you, they don't know what to make of it either. So let's pretend that I am finding more peace as I relax and sit on the couch more. That's not good. You're not being productive, So the other voices are still in the old ways, and it takes a while. Hopefully you communicate and work through it together, and you can have voices that agreement or understanding, or at least within yourself. That's because that's what matters most, is that you understand, oh, I'm being peaceful.
Exactly. My priorities have shifted.
Yeah.
Before, my priority was just to survive. Now my priority is to live, and to live in peace and joy, love and happiness. And I'm willing to do whatever that takes to get there. And that's where I love how you said it's not black and white. It's a journey. It's an ebb and it's a flow. Go with the flow. And I think that's beautiful. So, if there's anything we can tell you, and it sounds ironic to me, and of course I was questioning the whole topic of the show is rest during these holiday seasons, when things amp up and are chaotic. Remember, rest is whatever it is needs to be for you. And there's levels of it. And just like Janice's perfect meme, if you can't take 20 minutes to meditate, or you can't have the house to yourself, what does it look like for you to pause and be present? Because what I'm finding is rest is really about presence. It doesn't necessarily mean I have to stop my body from moving at this point if there's no physical pain or anything like that. It just means I need to focus on being present in this moment. Because if I'm present in this moment, I'm not thinking about the past. I'm not thinking about the future. I'm thinking about this moment.
It's interesting. One of the things that just hit me yesterday, or whatever day, in a, jeepers, was it 5-10 years ago? I had a car accident and I got a head injury. And at about the same time, I also found out that I have this eye disease. I'm supposed to go legally blind in 10 to 20 years. And, as I do, I'm very good at shutting it out. And that's pretty much what I've been doing. Of course, initially it was pretty tough. But then like the next 7 years or 8 years, I managed to put it out of my mind. I had an eye appointment last week. And when I was there, I only have to go once a year. And she's like, oh, see these blood vessels? I don't think we have to do shots yet. We don't have to do shots yet? Shots? What are you talking about? This isn't really happening to me. This is not going to happen. What are you doing? So it's interesting, because how much energy do I spend shutting things out? And so it makes me think. And one of those things that probably is a challenge for me to really be at rest is if I do have these big things that I'm not talking about, not thinking about, I'm just, oh no, I know I'm having a little hard time seeing, but it's fine. But probably every time I have a little bit harder time seeing, maybe I'm thinking, yeah, I think that MacTel may be moving along. It's a slow progression, but so I don't know. That kind of hit me the other day when I went there. It's like, what is that doing to me? Just shutting everything out like that.
Yeah, that's
in,
a big...
in the brain, the brain injury. Like I have a hard time thinking of words, but I'm old now. I do the same thing instead of wondering, how's it going to affect me? I don't know, but it's just a thought I had, how that's affecting my rest and peace.
I think that's, again, fantastic awareness. What I'm hearing is there are times not too long ago where you'd have left that appointment and immediately shut that down. Oh, yeah. You wouldn't have dove into it and been like, I wonder how me not thinking about these things is affecting me. So well done, Janice. Very well done. Very well done. We talk about truth setting you free, and a lot that is so true. When we can get honest with ourselves, then we can deal with what's in front of us. As long as we're pushing it away or suppressing it and pushing it down, it can't be dealt with. So very well done.
Yeah.
Outstanding. So our journey of discovering what rest means to us continues.
Oh, what ding did I do? Let's do this ding.
But what we do know is no rest for the weary is bullshit. Pay attention. Take care of yourself. Pause. Rest when you can, whether it's mind, body, soul, whatever. And what that rest looks like to you is whatever works for you. Okay.
Yes.
All right, Janice, you want to plug the nonprofit one more time?
For those of you who didn't hear at the beginning, we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We're proud of it. We do this because we love it, but there are expenses. If you are able to donate, go to our website, www.peacefulempowermentworks.org. Click on the donate button on the top or on the bottom and give if you can. We appreciate it.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. And we want to thank you all for choosing to be here now with us. Please always remember,
you are not alone.
And don't ever forget, you are awesome. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Janice. Thank you.